Welcome to the Richard Sherman podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Volumes YouTube channel to get more content. We coming at you 2 times a week. Subscribe now. Welcome back to the Richard Sherman podcast. I got my guy, Mitch Eisenstein. It's Sunday night, right before the Sunday night game. So much action. The Niners. Oh, Mitchell, the Niners.
The Niners, Rich. That first off,
Why
Rich,
did it rain?
It's week 1. Football is back. We're back, Rich. The Niners. You look up at the scoreboard. It was 10-0. It looked like Chicago was destined for another struggling start to this year. And then next thing you know, it's roles reversed.
Miracle on Soldier Field. The defense had him bottled up. Justin Fields was having a rough day. He had 19 yards in the first half. He was bottled up. He was struggling. And, of course, missed opportunities, penalties. They damned the 49ers. I mean, it was on the drive where they scored their first touchdown. There was a penalty to extend the drive. There was a missed sack on the play that he scored. It's just you can't have those kind of mistakes. And it's early on in a game like that where it's raining and you can't be sure of anything. You got to make the plays that are there. And that's unfortunate. Dang.
Richard, I'm going to start where I think a lot of the Bay Area is going to start with as well as the hypothetical questions. What if Jimmy G was starting this game and had played in this game? Would the outcome have been any different?
I don't know, because Trey Lance made a lot of plays with his feet. Trey Lance made a lot of plays with his feet. He extended some drives, made some big-time throws. And the rain affects everybody. You know, we've seen Jimmy play in the rain. There was a game we played against the Washington Redskins where it's pouring down raining. It doesn't make for great football, throwing the football. Now, could he have made some different adjustments? Maybe, but it was just one of those games where the worst possible scenario happened and the Niners took a loss. They got to bounce back next week versus Seattle, and that'll be a huge game that they got to find a way to win.
What are the positives? Are there any positives from this loss by the Niners?
The positives are it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. It's Trey Lance. Trey Lance got to show some positive things. He got to struggle. They got to find some things out about their interior offensive line, things they need to correct. Elijah Mitchell is a big question mark, going down with an injury. They don't know how serious that is, but they have running backs. And that's one thing that Kyle prides himself on. So there are some positive. Deebo Samuel, still Deebo Samuel.
Deebo Samuel might be seeing a little bit more Deebo at running back again, whether he wants to be or not, right? I mean, Richard, he had a couple big moments in that game, one of which was the fumble. I mean, walk through that, how that affected the game.
That was huge. Anytime you fumble in the red zone, take points off the board, it affects the ball game and it affects the momentum. And, it gave them life. It gave them life. And that's all the Bears needed was a few plays. And you got to give the Bears credit. The Bears played good football. They played good, sound defense. They were, I can't say they were stout in the run game because 49ers, I think, averaged more than 40 yards to carry. But they made the plays they needed to make. There was a huge interception by Eddie Jackson on a slant route that Trey threw low and away and tried to keep it away from him in the rain. So you got to give them credit. They played a heck of a game and they deserve the win.
Now, Richard, let's flip to another big game today. The Bengals and the Steelers. We talked about it last episode. That Super Bowl hangover, getting there, not quite winning it, but how you bounce back the following year. The Bengals started really slow in this game, really freaking slow in this game. Joe Burrow did not look like himself. I mean, what gives?
I mean, they didn't start slow, Mitchell. They started backwards. I don't think he's played a worse game in high school, college. Pop Warner are in his dreams. I don't think he's ever played that bad. And I think that was a wake-up call for him. And they came out in the second half firing. Jamar Chase tried to took the game over. I mean, had a chance to win in regulation. Really scored the game-tying touchdown, and all they needed was a PAT to end the game. A PAT. Hey, kickers, you have a job. Do it. It's one job. Not say it's not difficult. It's difficult. Other people can do it. A PAT to win the game. Breathe. Follow through. It's good. But no, it's not good. And so since it wasn't good, it gave the Pittsburgh Steelers the breath of life that they needed. They needed that breath of life, and they got it, and they found a way to win. Once again, he's going to be up for Coach of the Year.
He is going to be. I mean, especially with this team. You got Mitch Trubisky at the helm. I mean, I don't know how the Steelers do it, man. Year in, year out. Obviously, you got to attribute it to coaching. Mike Tomlin is on top of his game. They got a vicious defense. We talked about it off air. I think Minka Fitzpatrick is a dark horse defensive player of the year type guy. He's a ball hawk. He's a big honey badger, right, Rich? I mean, he's a guy that's all over the field, making big-time plays in big-time situations.
I mean, he had 14 tackles. It's rare you see a safety or rover or whatever he's playing lead the team in tackles, and he was everywhere. But we got to talk about Alex Highsmith. Alex Highsmith had 3 sacks in this game. He was everywhere. I mean, they need more of that, especially if you have a devastating injury to the reigning defensive player of the year in TJ Watt. Then you need somebody to step up. That, fingers crossed, it could be bad. But we do know somebody who came back from a pec injury before the season's up. And it was the first time anybody came back from a pec within that amount of time, and he shares the same DNA with him, and that's J.J. Watt. And so T.J. Watt is going to have to call J.J. Watt and figure out how he was able to do it and get his behind back in time for the playoffs.
Richard, that is a devastating, devastating blow. But the Steelers squeaked away a win, and we saw Evan McPherson pull a nice Blair Walsh. I mean, we all remember the Blair Walsh 4 left miss, giving the Seahawks the win back in your heyday, Rich. You got to love kickers. Kickers really, really delivered today for us. But a win's a win, Rich. You've seen it on both sides.
Right. I mean, the NFL is going to be checking to see if you got anybody betting on the games with the way these kickers are playing today. I mean, good night. You got Evan McPherson. You got Chris Boswell. You got Randy Bullock. Everybody's selling today. I bet the Tennessee Titans locker room, because they just lost right before we got on the show. They just lost because they drove the ball down the field, did everything they can, put their team. They were from the 29-yard line, Mitch. They're feeling good. Everybody's drinking water on the sideline. We got one, man. We snuck out of here with a win, man. It was a battle. Saquon did a hell of a job, but, we were able to pull it out. And then you watch the kicker not do his job again.
How about no, Rich? That is game over.
Game over. How about everybody's working out kickers on Monday? Everybody's working out kickers on Monday. You're going to see at least 3 to 4 teams working out kickers on Monday.
You know who might be a starting kicker in this league and a starting safety in this league is Justin Reed. Justin Reed put one through the uprights out the back of the end zone on a kickoff and booted the extra point and whatever that was, a field goal on top of it. I mean, trade bait, big time trade bait. It might get a first round pick for him.
The more you can do when his talent is gone and his speed is gone and he can't tackle anybody anymore, if he can still kick, come on now. There's a place for him in the National Football League.
There is.
That's a different kind of kicker. That's a different kind of kicker. And we talk about his team, the Kansas City Chiefs. What are they going to do without Tyreek? They're going to blow out the Arizona Cardinals. They're going to blow the brakes off of them. And that's what they did. Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, they're still there. Jerick McKinnon still doing his thing. Oh, Juju Smith-Schuster. Hey, nice to meet you. Catch a few of these. Hey, Valdez Scantling. Hey, nice to meet you. Catch a few of these. Hey, rookie. You look good. Catch a few of these. And my boy, my main man, Travis Kelce. Do your dance. Catch a few of these. That's what he did, and that's what he continues to do. He flicked sidearm, over the top, underneath. I saw him underhand one, Mitch. I saw him underhand.
Patrick Mahomes proved he is elite, and he doesn't necessarily need Tyreek Hill, although Tyreek Hill did ball out today as well. But, Rich, you saw it, and while we're talking about this, there's a lot of questions going into the season, specifically with Patrick Mahomes and his receiving core, having lost Tyreek Hill and a couple other guys. But now you flip it over to Aaron Rodgers, and he seemingly lost a bunch too. Devontae Adams. He's without a wide receiving core. Allen Lazard's out today. And I'll tell you what, man, that game was hard to watch. What do you make of Aaron Rodgers in the situation he is in? Are the Packers done?
The way everybody else is going to be working out kickers, Mitchell, they're going to be working out receivers. You might get a call.
I was going to say you might get a call.
I mean, I catch it now. If A-Rod put it like that, I done caught a couple from him now. He know how I catch it.
You got more catches than their entire receiving core did on Aaron Rodgers, man.
Right. He seen that, in a deep bomb, I get under it, but there were too many mistakes, and that's something he's not accustomed to. And that's, he's the MVP of the league. He played like A-Rod. It's not his talents dropping off or, man, is someone worried about A-Rod? No, he's dropping dimes. He's hitting people where they're supposed to be. He's doing his thing, but you can't drop the ball. You can't have missed assignments. You can't have missed communications. And that's what you're seeing without Devontae Adams. He doesn't have a safety net to say, hey, everything's going bad. I'm going backside to my one-on-one. I know my guy's and we're going to make something happen. Him and me, pitch and catch all the way down the field. We'll win a game together, just him and me. You don't have that. And so without that, you're dependent on rookies and second-year guys and guys that you don't have any rapport with, and it looks rough. And I'm sure the Minnesota Vikings and your Detroit Lions, who were battling today, Mitchell,
Richard,
are going to be really excited.
Now, here's a stat for you. Here's a very interesting stat. And I want to know what the Vegas odds on this were. A.J. Dillon, who is not a known receiver at all, was the leading reception leader and the leading yardage leader for the Green Bay Packers today. A.J. Dillon.
I wasn't expecting that. But no. I also wasn't expecting Justin Jefferson, who said this offseason, he said, hey, I respect everybody out there. Everybody's doing their thing, man. This is my list. Cooper Kupp, Devontae, giving everybody their respect. But he says, respectfully, I think after this year, I'll be the guy. Yep. And what he put on tape this week, Mitchell, listen to me. He might be the guy.
He might be that guy.
He might be the guy. And they got that Kevin O'Connell and this West Coast Kyle Shanahan offense making it look easy.
I tell you what, Rich, these Minnesota Vikings and what they did today against Green Bay, I mean, I'm a little biased with Detroit, but this division appears to be wide open. I mean, are the Vikings good? Are they that good? Are the Packers that bad? Is the real question right now.
I don't know if I'd call them bad. I'd say the Vikings are always solid. Always solid. They've always had the talent. They've had Za'Darius Smith was out there manhandling people. So now they got a pass rush. They've always been solid in the secondary with Harrison Smith and the boys. And offensively, Kirk is a good quarterback. I'm not going to call him great. I'm not going to call him elite, but he's a good quarterback, and at times, very good. And within this offense, they keep it simple. That's why Kyle Shanahan was screaming that he wants Kirk Cousins. He wants Kirk Cousins because he's tailor-made for the offense that Kevin O'Connell brought from the Rams. He's tailor-made for it, and it looked like it today. They were just doing their thing. It's the same stuff Aaron Rodgers is running with LaFleur. It's the same stuff. They saw he has better players right now. When you had Devontae, you had better players. Right now, Justin Jefferson is a better player. And so it's going to be exciting, man. Detroit was battling. Chicago won. That division is a lot more competitive than people think.
Well, Richard, I was at the Lions game. They battled. They were getting taken out to the abyss pretty early, and then they battled back, man. They swam back and fought hard. But unfortunately, there was too many blown assignments, missed plays, Jared Goff, pick six. I tell you, one takeaway I had is that Philadelphia defense, especially in the secondary, is pretty vicious. I mean, you got corners. Our boy, big play, Darius Slay.
Big play.
And James Bradbury on both sides. I mean, the Eagles, maybe we were wrong about the NFC East being that trash division. Were we wrong?
I'm not ready to concede that. Mitchell. Mitchell, they were struggling. They were struggling in that game. Now always open, A.J. Brown soldiered his way through, had a day. But if you take him away and look at the rest of that sheet, Mitchell, Devontae Smith, non-existent, didn't exist.
Nothing.
4 targets, no catches. I don't even know who their other receivers are because they did not exist and get a catch. Hurts is not going to just be able to run and do that every week in and week out. It's not going to be that easy. I'm not fooled by that. That's fool's gold. And y'all going to have to keep showing me to convince me that that's real.
17 rush attempts, 90 yards. It was like a Sandlot game. I mean, it was like us going out 5th grade and just running around. I mean, that's what it was for Jalen Hurts. It seemed like you said, if A.J. Brown wasn't open, he was tucking and running. 17 carries, 90 yards. That is a lot of carries for a quarterback and cannot be expected on a game in, game out basis. They got to make changes.
But you know what? That being said, go ahead, Mitchell.
No, I was going to say, that being said, it's interesting, and I know me, the Homer, Detroit Lion guy, we can breeze through the Lions here, but I have to revisit this real quick. I think the Lions, for once in a long time, Rich, finally have an identity developing. They were pounding the rock. They were very, very consistent throughout this game. DeAndre Swift was involved early and often, and
love it.
They might sneak out and win a handful of games they weren't supposed to.
Hey, that's 7 seed. It can be an under 500 team. And the way the NFC North is open, I don't know. Detroit, don't sleep on Detroit. Don't sleep. And let me talk about the Baltimore Ravens too, Mitchell. They don't want to play the quarterback. Like, how many teams are out there with a quarterback that won MVP on a rookie deal? I think it's only one. I think Mahomes is the only other one who did it. Like, and you're telling me you don't want to pay him? And then they're like, hey, we offered him more than Russell Wilson. That's another thing. Like, Ravens better be careful. There's only two sides to that discussion, so only one side could have leaked that information. So you trying to leak information to the fans to make it look like the quarterback is wrong in the situation? I'll be careful.
Especially when he's representing himself.
He's representing himself, and he's still got a quarterback, y'all, for the next 17 weeks. So you might want to be careful.
You were in that exact same situation, albeit different in his set of circumstances. Young, in his prime, coming off his, like you said, MVP season, coming off his rookie deal. He's choosing to represent himself in the highest market cap category, the quarterback position. Is he doing a good job being Agent Lamar Jackson?
Yes, he is. Because a normal agent would have took the deal. A normal agent would have took a little bit more than Russell Wilson, a little bit more than Kyler Murray. And then everybody would have been like, praise, praise, praise. Look at that great deal. He's not accepting that. He's not accepting it for these reasons. And I have a little background, little insider information. The cap is going to jump. Surprise, surprise, Baltimore Ravens. The cap won't be 208 next year. It'll be probably closer to 228. So you were better doing the deal now than later, because you wait later, everybody's like, oh, well, the franchise tag number, it's going to bounce. It's going to bubble. And once it bubbles, you're going to owe him more money. So what they tried to do was mitigate that, Mitchell. They tried to offer him the combination of what it would be if he got franchised multiple times. And they said, hey, look, if you got franchised multiple times, this is what the number would be. Hey, we'll give it to you. Nah, I'm good. I just play it at that point, because he's going to be able to put more pressure on him, Mitchell, to sign him to a long-term deal by not showing up to camp. When you're a DB, a corner, a left tackle, a running back, a receiver, and you don't show up to camp, they fine you, they do all this. When you're under the franchise tag, you're not under contract. So the distraction that it will be for the Baltimore Ravens when their starting quarterback, who will likely make a Pro Bowl this year, may sneak into an all-pro team, doesn't show up for training camp and can't get punished, might show up week 1 out of shape on purpose because he need time to get ready, take his time getting ready. I'm not ready week 1. I might be ready week 2. Y'all might want to pay the man and stop pissing him off.
You're absolutely right. It's time to pay the man. It's like they're waiting for him to get hurt so they can be proved right? I mean, this guy, I don't know what else he has to prove. He's proven that he can be more than a runner. You know, they finally got a healthy roster. I don't know if they're the best wide receivers in the world, but he's got enough weapons around him. And you know him. I mean, you guys were battling against him, man. When you guys were with the Niners, he's a freaking problem when he is on. He is a game changer. I am sure every other team in the NFL would love to see him leave Baltimore, so they better not screw this one up.
I'm sure the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just waiting. Tom Brady's retiring. They're going to be in need. There's a lot of teams with a quarterback need. Oh, Baltimore, lack of appreciation, a need. Crazy things happen in offseason like that, Mitchell. Crazy things.
I'm with you, Rich. I mean, that in the AFC North is a wild division, man. A wild freaking division. And then we saw the Browns going up against your buddy, your boy, Baker Mayfield. Guy's an absolute stud. He's going to give it to his old team, and holy cow, did he not?
Did he not? He gave it to him. He gave it to him. He gave it to him like he was getting paid by him. He's still getting his check from the Cleveland Browns, Mitchell, and it looked like it. It looked like he was playing for the Cleveland Browns. He kept him in that ball game. I respect it.
I was reading a report today that he sent Myles Garrett a text message after he left saying, hey, it was a pleasure playing with you, and Myles Garrett just flat out did not reply. Is he just not a teammate fan favorite? Is he like one of the draft day movie where no one went to his birthday party? Is he that guy?
I have no idea. I ain't never played with him. I'm not in the locker room with him. But what I'll tell you is the quarterback position has about 20 guys that can play the position better than he can play it. And some of them are backups in this league. Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than him. And he is not starting in this National Football League at this very moment. And what I'm telling you, Mitchell, is the Cleveland Browns couldn't have got a better gift for Christmas this year to calm their fan base down. Hey, y'all want to see why we did it? We're going to play against the guy we traded away that you guys are saying we shouldn't have traded away. And you see how bad he is? Look at him. Look at the interception. Look at the missed throws. Look at him. He's so hyped. He's doing this. He's doing that. And guess what? The Cleveland Browns with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, Nick Chubb their way to a W, which is
they Nick Chubb their way for sure. And that's what they're going to be doing and that's what they should be doing, Rich.
Right.
Who wants to tackle freaking Nick Chubb?
Not me. Did it one time. I did it one time. I still feel like parts of my body ain't the same.
Well, Rich, who knows? Cleveland might be around this thing for a little bit longer than we anticipated, but Jacoby Brissett, perfect game manager. Carolina Panthers, they might be looking for a new quarterback, picking number 1 overall after this thing is all said and done.
Right. And getting rid of two? It wasn't Darnold number 1 and wasn't Baker number 1, and then they're going to get another. They might want to pick 2. At that point, you might want to pick 2 or 3 or a 12 or whenever third round or something.
Another big storyline, I think, after today's slate of games are the New England Patriots. And I think we've been able to see a good sample size, what they're like and what they're not like without Tom Brady at the helm. I mean, now this is a very serious question. It's going to be thought-provoking. How in trouble is Bill Belichick's legacy without having Tom Brady manning the ship for him?
I wish I had the trumpets and could do the meme. You is in trouble. Like, they are in a lot of trouble. First off, Matt Patricia, like, sometimes it's better to just be in the background of things, Mitchell, and but sometimes you don't need people to know that you doing things. You know what I mean? Because right now it's rough. Now, Mac Jones didn't have the worst game. The offense didn't have the worst possible game, but they didn't look like they did last year. They were firing on all cylinders last year. I mean, it did not look like it did last year. And so there's going to be a lot of questions throughout the season. And Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniel, who is much maligned. Everybody's talking about how is he going to do. A lot of Tyreek Hill talking about Tua's better than Mahomes. And a lot of, look, Tua showed up now. Give him his credit. He didn't have one of them 90-yard games that he was having in his rookie year where it was like, hey, he might not be it.
Tua might give Miami a shot. And that's what we talked about on the first podcast. I know you don't believe in them as division hopefuls, going obviously with the Buffalo Bills juggernaut that's in the division. But this team sneaks into the wild card. They get the right matchup. They could do some stuff, Rich. I mean, they got legitimate weapons. They got burners on the outside. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They got some good backs. Your boy Raheem Mostert. They got legitimate speed. I mean, all those guys can run 4.3.
Right.
You don't let speed out the bid. They got a lot of speed, Rich.
First off, I don't understand how Tyreek and Raheem are in the same locker room and we still haven't seen a race. I need the race. This offseason, right after the season's done, I need the race. 23 miles an hour, Raheem Mostert. Tyreek Hill is the cheetah. I ain't seen you go 23 miles an hour. I need the race. But you're right, Mitchell. They could be dangerous. They have a good defense with good players. Come on now. Their secondary is good. They can play man-to-man coverage. Like, Xavier Howard is still one of the best corners in the National Football League. I mean, they're a little banged up at the other corner. Byron Jones has been banged up, but they can bring pressure. Like, they can do it. And Mike McDaniels is a brilliant play caller in the run game and in the pass game. Another one of the Kyle Shanahan, McVay, the West Coast tree. It could be cool, but they're not beating Buffalo.
As Tyreek said, Mike McDaniel's got some kahunas on him, man, going on 4th and 7, going for it. I mean, this is new age football. This is, throwing caution to the wind and letting it happen. And that's how you win football games. I mean, we saw it Brian Dable today, and going for 2. I mean, luckily his boy Randy Bullock missed that field goal, but that takes some serious kahunas too. And these coaches are playing for keeps right now. I think conservative mindsets are out the window, But Rich, I'm with
politics,
you. Raheem, no politics. Raheem Mostert against Tyreek Hill needs to happen, and it's going to happen. Throw in Jalen Waddle as well. I want to see all 3 of them battle it out.
Right. I need to see that race. It's pay-per-view TV. Look, if you want to charge a little fee to get everybody in the dough, find an app or something.
You know what?
Pay my little
We're going to host
$20.
it live right here on the Volume. We're going to live stream it, Rich. We're going to take the podcast out there on the road. We're going to have all 3 of them on it, and we're going to force them to run.
I can't wait. I mean, they're hard to catch, so we might not be able to catch them if they don't want to run. But Mitchell, the Giants, Saquon, welcome back. Look at him. Hype, like doing it. Big yard. Hadn't had a 50-plus yard run in 3 years. Looking like his old Penn State self. And I know that's a relief, and I respect it. Coming back from injury is tough, and he was able to do it, and it's exciting. They got the win. They deserve the win. Like sometimes, stuff is just going right. You know what I mean? Russell Shepard's out there making big plays. Like things are just like showing up and being, kind of falling in place. They were down 13-0, start rolling back. The momentum, the most unfaithful girl in football in the world is momentum. And she was with the Tennessee Titans the whole first half. They had drinks, they had dinner, they were going out, they were having a good time. And then she saw the New York Giants and said, wait a minute. Come on now, Mitchell. She saw the New York Giants and said, wait a minute.
They saw Daniel Jones resurrect this team. I mean, that 2-point attempt, Saquon. What you like to see about Saquon is like you thought this guy was down and out. I mean, obviously been battling injuries the last couple of years. Obviously, this high-end talent had a couple great seasons right out of college. But he's got that confidence back. I mean, he's got that dog back. I mean, he was talking smack right after the 2-point conversion. The Giants, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of faith in Daniel Jones to begin with, but who knows? I mean, that NFC East division, it's a crapshoot. They might just fall out of the dumpster alive, man.
Somebody going to fall out of it, Mitchell. And it might be one or 2 teams. Now, we got to see what the Dallas Cowboys do tonight against Tampa Bay Buccaneers and touchdown Tom and Julio Jones and Mike Evans and Russell Gage and Chris Godwin and Carlton Davis, and come on now, we can go Shaq Barrett. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's gonna be crazy. Vita Vea,
Richard, the Bucks are ready, and this is Tom. Tom and Giselle. Eventually, this got to come to an end for Tom. This might be. Is it MVP time for Tom Brady at 45?
Well, last year was MVP time, leading the league in touchdowns and yards, and and it's Tom. And I think that might have been the reason he didn't get it. Because it's like, y'all really not going to get at the Tom? Like, oh, is that what we doing? But A-Rod, A-Rod ain't turning the ball over. Now, A-Rod is going to be kind of out of the mix this year. You don't got Devontae. He ain't got a lot of action right now. So it's going to be a little tougher. But what about the Colts and the Texans? Like, a tie? A tie has to be one of the worst things in ball. Like, why?
Richard,
why?
I have to get your input on this. I think every fan across America and probably across the entire world, anyone that pays attention to American football in general, are the overtime rules in the regular season and in the postseason the most archaic rules? Like, why are we not playing with college football rules? Start from the 25, give each team equal opportunity, and let the best team freaking win. These overtime rules set up for BS like this. Imagine being a fan, dude. Imagine bringing your kids down to the freaking stadium and you will spend 4 hours there and you walk away and little Timmy's looking at you and be like, Dad, what's a tie? And you have to explain to him what a tie is on his first career football game that he goes to. I mean, this is ridiculous, Richard. Something's got to change now.
It did change, but this is how archaic and how malign the NFL is. They're ridiculous at times. Well, we'll change it for the playoffs because that was a big deal. But for the regular season, we'll keep it the same. We don't want to mess up the history of the game and all the results that have already happened. No, change it. It don't make sense. This ain't soccer. Like nobody happy. Like, oh, we tied. Like Y'all gonna be real upset when y'all got rule breakers. I mean, when y'all got tiebreakers at the end and y'all like, which team, there's two teams exactly the same record with a tie. What do we do? Yeah, you're going to be mad because it shouldn't happen. It should never happen in football. And Matt Ryan struggled early. I was concerned. I said, maybe they made a mistake. There was a lot of chatter on Twitter. A lot of Matt Ryan is over the hump. Maybe that's why they got rid of him, yada, yada, yada. And then 352 yards later in a tie. And he looked like Matt Ryan. Like he had to find his legs, and he found them.
Well, Richard, I mean, that was one of those games, too. You're playing the Texans. I mean, I know it's week 1. You got to be fired up, but, like, you're playing the Texans. I mean, maybe they expected to win. Maybe they just took the game too light, and the Texans were fired up because it was opening week.
No question. Lovie Smith had them boys fired up and ready to play. They had a good run game. Davis Mills, Stanford guy. Come on now. Bring it home. And he was trying to bring it home. And
he gave him a shot. I mean, the Texans might not be as bad as everyone thought. That's what matters in this week 1 right now. You're not looking like the freaking Packers at 0-1, wondering if you're going to catch more than 5 passes as a wideout next week.
It's some parity in the National Football League, which is everybody's like, well, I love college football. Like, now I can't say it because this year is a weird year. You got 1AA schools beating powerhouses. So, I can't say, but It's usually not as much parity in college football, but it's parity in the National Football League. Every game was competitive outside of the Cardinals and Green Bay kind of got beat up. But every game was competitive. And this game, Monday night, is going to be a barn burner. I'm going to be on hand, Mitchell. I ain't been in the Seattle Stadium to watch a football game since 17. I got to be there for this one. They trying to have me raise the flag.
Are you going to be with the 12s? Are you going to be one with the 12s, Richard? I'm going to be
up there with Marshawn or something. And we're going to go in the old guys. We're going to be up there. Well, I think they got us on the sideline for the beginning. But Russell Wilson back to Lumen Field to play the Seattle Seahawks, and they got a good plan for him, Mitchell. We'll see if they can execute it.
I got to set this up, Rich. This reminds me too much of you. You go to a rival. I mean, granted, Russell was traded, but everyone kind of assumes he forced the trade to a degree. He's coming back opening week. It's weird how the NFL structures it this way. What's it like coming back? What can he expect coming back into Seattle? Are the fans going to be welcoming to him, or are they going to get a hostile 12s raucous crowd?
Mitchell, this is how it goes. He's a great former player for them.
Mm-hmm.
They will cheer for him when they see him. They going to scream, Russell, thank you, appreciate it. Like, yeah, cool. Russell Wilson's back. Thank you. You did great for us. You really tried. And then first pass, they're going to boo him because he's an opposing quarterback. As they should, they're fans. They're not going to love him up, him trying to beat their team. But he better win this one, Mitchell. He better win this one. He better win this one because he will not be back in Seattle playing this division for another 3 years. He's not getting another opportunity like this. If he wins, cool. He's supposed to win. That's where it's so much pressure. He's supposed to win this one. It's not even supposed to be close. If he loses, Mitchell, if he loses this game, and after what the Chargers and Chiefs have done, and even the Raiders look good.
Yeah.
Mitchell, it's going to be trouble. It's going to be trouble. People are going to be wondering if he signed that deal because he knew it was going to be trouble.
What's the likelihood he comes in there and just they don't walk away with a win?
Mitchell, I didn't think the likelihood of a lot of things happening today were very high. And so my likelihood of 3 kickers missing game-winning kicks, I thought it was really low in the National Football League, but it happened. I don't think it's a high probability, but I think there's a good plan in place. I think that the Denver Broncos are a new team with a new quarterback who's very unique in his ability to move around the pocket. His offensive line is going to have to adjust to that. His receivers are going to have to adjust to that. When you don't have expectations, the most dangerous teams are the teams with no hope, Mitchell, with no expectations. Yep. Like, there's nobody expecting. Everybody's writing off the Seattle Seahawks. Hey, they're written off. They're going to draft early in the draft. They're not going to do anything this year. That's a dangerous team, just like the Chicago Bears. Hey, Justin Fields, they don't have a great O-line. And that's how they beat the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, you went into a situation, a play here, a play there. Nobody's expecting us to be here. Then by the time you realize it's happening, it's over. And so they got a puncher's chance, Mitchell. I don't know. Now, if Denver wins, it's not going to be big news. It's going to be expected. But if they don't.
Well, Richard, let's hit rewind here. There was a big game on Thursday night that we really didn't have an opportunity to revisit. But the Rams and the Bills. The Bills made a freaking statement, Rich. And the Rams, I mean, is Matthew Stafford's elbow going to be that big of an issue? He wasn't forcing the ball down the field. It seemed like Cooper Kupp was his target on every play. And I get it. That's great for the stat line. But are the Rams in trouble this year?
I wish I had the trumpets again, Mitchell, because yes, and it's not all Matt's fault. I'm not going to sit here and pour on and say, hey, Matthew Stafford is the reason they lost. Somebody got a block, and they better get another book because that note boom is not getting it done right now. Like, I know they trying out offensive linemen. He better find an anchor or he going to find a place on that bench because they got pass rusher galore coming to deal with them. In the NFC West, you got a couple. But guess what? Y'all get the beautiful gift of playing the AFC West too. So now you got to play the AFC West. Bosa, Khalil Mack looked dang good today. My goodness.
Yep.
Then you got the other Bosa twice a year. Oh, my God. It's going to be insane. Chandler Jones, Max Crosby. Oh, my God. Chris Jones. Oh, my God. Frank Clark. When you going to get a break? They better figure out that offensive line. And Matt's arm, like, how long have you watched Matt Stafford, Mitchell? He was with Detroit, so you watched him at least 12 years.
Every year he was in Detroit. And you know, I was a big fan of him, Rich. He always conducted himself like a professional. He always gave the Lions a shot. But they used to call him Pad Statford, padding his stats, right?
Right.
And to me, I don't know. I mean, everything aligned for the Rams last year. They avoided the injury bug, right? I mean, they had some miracles happen in the NFC Championship game with the dropped interception. Everything kind of aligned for them. Then they end up playing the Super Bowl at home. They're facing adversity early in the season. They're facing, complications at the quarterback position with an injury that they're saying would, force a MLB pitcher to shut down for the year. Like, these are problems week one that we're dealing with right now. And then you add the gauntlet of the schedule that you're talking about. Rich, this is hot take city. This is Sunday afternoon quarterback. The Rams might be destined for a very down year this year.
And a very, very down year. Are you saying they won't make the playoffs, Mitchell?
I think we're looking in the territory of one game above or one game below 500. I think you're looking at a 9-8, 8-9. Somewhere in there, and I think in that
implosion.
Implosion.
That would be implosion for a team that just came off of a Super Bowl win with the amount of talent that they currently have on that roster. I mean, you probably have at least 3, maybe 4 Hall of Famers on that roster that should make it in at some point or another. Like, you have Aaron Donald, who may be one of the best defensive players to ever play. You have Bobby Wagner, one of the best middle linebackers in football and one of the best players to play. Jalen Ramsey has tried to make a case, but he better play better than he did on Sunday or they're going to stop having those conversations. Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown winner. But sure. Speaking of that, Mitchell, let me go get because Allen Robinson, right. You're paying him $15 million to stand out there and not get a target? Like, you got to be. And then I was offended a little bit, Mitchell, because you don't target him all. He got the one target. He caught a curl. But you don't target him all game. And then you have a garbage time throwaway pass that is likely going to either be incomplete or intercepted because everybody's anticipating you taking a shot to the end zone. And you throw that one to Allen Robinson, not Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp. Not trying to start drama, but it's a weird play. You don't look for him the whole game, and then you're like, hey, this one's probably going to be a bad play. So now I'm going to look for him. Like, you're not going to put that incompletion on Cooper's stat sheet. Like, that's a little weird of a deal. I just don't understand what happened. I hope somebody asks him in his interview, in his press conference this week, what happened? Like, what Were the plays not designed for him? Was it not enough time? Something.
I just feel bad for the guy because you look at him coming off Chicago Bears, and you talked about it last year. He's one of the most talented, underutilized players in the NFL, and it was just kind of a system fit, right? They had the rookie quarterback and Justin Fields, and you felt bad for the guy, right? And then all of a sudden, he's got to be thinking, man, I'm fired up. I'm going to play with the Super Bowl champs. I got Matt Stafford slinging me the rock. Like, I'm going to be that outside vertical threat next to Cooper Kupp. And then, boom. 1 reception, 12 yards. Hey, thanks for coming out. Like, the most unlucky dude out there at this point in time.
It got to be. I hope it changes soon. I mean, I think they got Arizona next week, so hopefully they change the tune against them. But we got to talk about Buffalo. We got to talk about Josh Allen having an MVP-like performance.
Yep.
Gabe Davis picking up where he left off in the playoffs. Freaking touchdown, almost another touchdown. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is out there cooking. Their offensive line looks strong. Von Miller, 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Like on 27 pass rush attempts. Like chilling, but still one of the best to do it.
Just putting on pass rushing clinics mid-game, the double ghost sack. I saw you on all over it on Twitter, Rich. All over it on Twitter.
Come on. No hand. Look, no hands. No, look, no hands. And then you start, nobody even noticed this. This is the craziest part. You got Cooper Kupp, you got Allen Robinson out there running routes against rookies. They started rookie corners. Trey White is still beat up. Trey White is still injured. He's not out there. He's struggling right now. We got to figure out what's going on with him. But they had rookies out there. Kyer Elam is a first-round pick, but they're still rookies.
Yep.
And you didn't hear their name. You didn't hear him mentioned. You didn't hear him get targeted. Like, something to be said about that, Mitchell. Them boys stood up.
You called it early. I'm fully on board this Buffalo Bills bandwagon this year, Rich. This team looks like they are going to be that team, and they got all the pieces. Stephon Diggs, you want to talk about cooking? I mean, I know you're high on Jalen Ramsey, but golly, he was looking like a rookie cornerback out there. Perfect passer rating against Jalen Ramsey, by the way. Perfect. And this is a future Hall of Famer, right?
Right.
Going to school.
He better tighten it up. He got to tighten it up. They expect too much from him. Like when you're the guy, they expect a ton from you. You don't get to have bad games. You definitely don't get to have that kind of game. You get to have, hey, I gave up a touchdown, I gave up a grab, like crucial, like maybe cool. Okay, mistakes happen. On one of the plays, it was the receiver came down and cracked, and he did a good job. Now that's hard for a corner. Now I'll admit that. The first play, the first touchdown to Gabe Davis, he engaged the end man on the line of scrimmage and actually grabbed him and blocked him. So when a corner sees that, I'm supposed to trigger on the run game and attack because now they have an edge on us. So it's called crack replace. So my guy is getting cracked, so I'm supposed to replace his gap in the run game, his man. So that's what Jalen Ramsey was doing on that play. That's understandable. Great scheme by the Buffalo Bills. Cool. Ken Dorsey, good job. The other play, less empathy for. The other play was, hey, they haven't really taken any shots. I want to be involved. I want to make a play. I want to be a difference maker. And I don't feel the speed of one because I'm too enamored with trying to figure out if two's getting the ball because that's where he's looking. And lo and behold, Josh Allen does not suck. A bomb. Gaboom. And then Stephon Diggs, who's been hearing the talk all week about this matchup and how he struggles against Jalen Ramsey, turns around and has that conversation. I don't know, Mitchell. It got to be different week 2.
And how about your disappointing players of the week?
Disappointing players of the week. Let's see. Disappointing players of the week. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray disappointed me this week. Kyler Murray with the big offseason contract that had some weird language in it about studying. You better study. And he looked like you could see why they put the language in there. There were a few plays where he had a guy into the flats where they ran a double pick play, a man beater on 3rd and short, where, hey, they're running it for the back to get open in the flat. It's the design of the play. All you have to do is toss it out there. Now, I'm no quarterback, but they're paying him $45 million, so I assume he's able to do it. Throw it out there to the flat. It's a first down. It happened 2 or 3 times in the game, and he missed them every time. So, sure, the Kansas City Chiefs beat them, but there were plays that could have kept drives alive that he just simple plays, just the layups, make the layups. And he wasn't making the layups. Cliff Kingsbury was calling good plays, and he wasn't making a layup. That was disappointing. Jalen Ramsey was disappointing this week. It was tough. 158, perfect passer rating on his side. He's one of the best corners in the National Football League. I think J.C. Jackson, with his ability to get the play man-to-man coverage and take the ball away, is the best corner in the National Football League. But I think he's in the conversation, and he can't play like that. That was a disappointing day for him. Trying to keep going. Allen Robinson. I'm not disappointed in the player. I'm disappointed in the opportunity. I'm disappointed that he didn't get the opportunity to shine and to show and to continue. I don't know why he just has bad luck. He just has bad luck. He just can't, can't catch a break. The Packers receiving core. Disappointing. Y'all got to play better than that. Aaron Rodgers, the reigning 2-time MVP, deserves better than that. Dropping wide open passes that would have been touchdowns, huge explosive plays would have been touchdowns. You can't have it. They drafted guys to do the job. They aren't doing the job. They got to clean it up, or it's going to be a long year for them. Those are my guys. I don't have 6 for you right now, Mitchell. I got to wait to the game.
That's fine. That's plenty, Rich. Well, Richard, this concludes week 1. As we're recording this, the Cowboys and Buccaneers just kicked off, so you're going to go watch your boy Tom sling it around the yard, and my guess the Buccaneers walk away with the W. But, guys, we're going to be doing this every week, every Sunday, a recap. Richard's going to be on Thursday Night Football this week, so please tune in. Richard, any closing thoughts on week 1?
It's going to be a fun season. I think it's a lot of parity. It's a lot of teams competitive. It's, in off season, there's talking about teams that aren't good, teams that are going to do this. And, sometimes you get hit in the mouth. Things will look different from week 8 than it does week 1. But, man, it was a fun week.
Well, Richard, it's been a heck of a time. Another Mitchie Richie production here. Guys, thanks for joining in. The Richard Sherman Podcast on the volume. We'll see you guys on Tuesday or Wednesday and Sunday. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you joining us.